We'll jump quickly over to the payer employment pathways. This is working with insurance companies for the most part, and potentially with government agencies that work with insurance. The first segment of the payer employment pathways that we'll talk about here is a segment of healthcare services and operations. And most insurance companies will typically have a department or a work stream that is titled similarly. Some of the job titles here include that of a clinical quality reviewer. These folks will make sure that some of the insurance claims that are coming to the insurance company, that they make sense with best practices in patient care and are reasonable for use. Utilization management reviewers do something similar, where they look at the claims that are coming in to see which patients are using which services and how to best manage those patients and how to best manage the funds going to those providers. There's case managers who work specifically with certain cases that may be especially high cost cases to see how to best finance the healthcare for those patients. There's provider network managers that focus on managing a large network of providers, and that relates to the pricing of different healthcare plans. There's clinical services coordinators and managers. There's social services coordinators and managers, and behavioral health coordinators and managers. These folks work with not only the patients, but more often the providers of these different services to make sure that the patient has access to these services, that they're able to receive the support that they need and do so in a cost-effective way. The licensing and education for these roles includes a high school diploma or equivalent, and sometimes a bachelor's degree is helpful, and it's required for some, but not all of these positions. And then optional is a education or experience related to patient care, such as being a physician, nurse, a coordinator, care manager, or a social worker. Some of the skills that are really important for these folks include the ability to understand patient care needs and service providers, the ability to communicate with healthcare providers and patients, and the ability to review and catalog healthcare utilization. And the employers here again are the health insurance companies. Below here is a helpful link to learn more about different careers and jobs in health insurances. Next, we'll jump over to the second segment of payer employment pathways, and that of business operations and data analysis. I won't go through all of the job titles here. As you can see, many of them relate to billing, verification, benefits of being a benefits advisor, working with insurance sales, and so on. But these folks are really working on the business side to make sure that health insurance companies stay afloat financially and that they are able to support their patients in the way that is necessary, and certainly work with providers along the way. There's a lot of entry-level roles here that don't require certain certifications. It's often a nice place for people to end up early on while they figure out the rest of their different options within the health system, as well as growing further in health insurance as well. Some of the education here includes a high school diploma or equivalent or bachelor's degree. And again, the clinical experience and education is certainly helpful, but not essential to many of these roles. The skills involved for these folks include data entry, verification, and reimbursement of medical claims, and the ability to communicate with healthcare providers and patients. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up our payer employment pathways, and that actually wraps up our presentation here on employment pathways in the healthcare system overall. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I wanted to cover some concluding points here. There are short-term and long-term opportunities for employment in the U.S. health system. Many of the roles that we've covered today don't require too many certifications or licenses to get started. And many of them may be places where you start before you can jump to somewhere that you really want to be longer term. Everyone must start somewhere, right? And there's certainly a lot of mobility and growth in the health system workforce. There's new opportunities in the US to build on your prior experience and grow further. As far as next steps go, some next steps include connecting with our partners Upwardly Global and AMPA for further support. You can find the link for Upwardly Global right below. And Upwardly Global, as mentioned before, is certainly very incredible in the work that they do with mentorship, skill building, and employment seeking support. AMPA, you have heard from some of the representatives from AMPA today, and AMPA as a whole is very active in developing a network of local healthcare providers of Afghan descent, and certainly can help you get connected if you get in contact with them. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I really hope that we were able to help you get started on your journey to finding employment in the health system in the US. Best of luck to you, and thank you so much.